Guys, we have something very special for you right now because we have spy video and images of a 2025 Ram 1500, but not just any truck.
No, we think it's the Rebel, the Ram Rebel, and it's out there in the wild, and we have the images right here.
Yeah, up close and personal. So we do have a little bit of specs from Ram, right? And now we have underbody pictures and a little bit of video, interior video and pictures. So we're going to show all of that to you now. But we couldn't do this without the photographer, Nigel.
Yeah, Nigel went the extra mile. Not only did he catch the video, but he went underneath the truck. He didn't touch the truck, which never touch the truck. But he did everything else that we would possibly want.
But the truck was in public, so it was fair game.
That's exactly it. As long as it's in public, it's A-okay.
So how about we do this? How about we play this clip right now, and then we can study it and show you more detail.
Fire away.
You can't really hear behind the truck.
No, but the truck is on, by the way.
And here it is. There. So what do you think? I mean, the engine is not very loud.
No, and I didn't expect it to be.
We know the Hemi, they're discontinuing it for 2025 model year. We know that for sure. But we're not quite sure, is this a Pentastar V6? Is this a regular Hurricane? Is this a high output Hurricane? Which Hurricane is this?
So they've come out with two different Hurricane engines that are going to be on Rams. They're both called the SST, which is straight six turbo, right? But one is a high output turbo and one is a non-high output turbo.
Yeah.
Now, we've been looking at these pictures way before we started this video, and we're under the impression that this may be the regular output straight six. That's not to say it's not powerful, though.
And here's why. Here's an image. So let's study this one as well. First of all, this is the rear end, obviously spare tire, right, rear axle. And we can see partially the exhaust system, right? So, Nathan, I think we agree, you and I, that it's one pipe input and it goes into a muffler and then two pipes come out.
That's what it looks like from here. Now, if you're wondering where the cat is, it looks like on all of these straight six turbos, the catalytic converters are actually snug way up, very close to the engine actually, which among other things might actually help prevent theft. But aside from all that, the twin turbo version with the high output actually has the two pipes running along to the muffler. And this looks like it has one, which would indicate possibly the regular output.
Yeah, so it's either, I would agree, regular output SST Hurricane 3 liter or maybe even a Pentastar. But the Rebel is now a little bit more premium, right?
That's exactly.
So they wouldn't put a base engine into this truck, I wouldn't think.
There's a lot more evidence to suggest that it's not the base engine, and that is what's inside the vehicle. They have a bunch of testing gear. I worked a long time ago, before I came to TFL, when I was just starting as a automotive journalist, at a company that actually tested vehicles. This is how I got into this thing. And they would actually put a ton of telemetry equipment inside to measure everything. And if you look inside, you can clearly see that they've got a computer keyboard down there. There's an extra screen over there, a bunch of other stuff.
And also what appears to be the new one, the 14.5-inch vertically oriented display, which is only like a premium feature, right?
Right.
So this Ram Rebel prototype spy truck, right? It looks to be fairly premium, so I wouldn't think it would be a base V6.
And I wouldn't add all this equipment to measure a V6 that has already gone through a gazillion measurements in the past. So if you think about it, it makes a lot of sense that this would be the straight six turbo and the regular output turbo version, which is already, once again, it's already beefier than the Hemi. Let's talk about this, though.
Yeah, so Ram did not invite any journalists to the unveiling officially to show the truck. So all we have is kind of going by a couple of images they uploaded. So this is their 2025 Ram 1500 Rebel image that Ram published. And they are saying it will have a 33-inch Goodyear Wrangler tire, 1-inch raised ride height, lifted suspension, and Bilstein performance tuned shock absorbers. All of which
are on this truck that we have.
We can show you in just in a minute, but I just wanted to show you the power output that they're promising on this particular standard engine. It's here somewhere. Let me see. Oh, by the way, the base engine, they confirm, is a 3.6 liter Pentastar V6.
Yeah.
Even though they show it next to the Rebel, we don't think this engine may go on in this.
It doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, granted, back in 2016, when the very first Rebel came out, which we, by the way, went to those events, there was a Pentastar V6 that was available. They even had a rear drive version that was available as well. A lot of those things have been kind of thrown off to the side because there is a value proposition that is part of the Rebel's packaging altogether. Here we go.
Yeah, so the standard output SST, Ram is promising 420 horsepower and 469 pound-feet of torque. This is already really beefy. This is basically matching or a little bit more torque than the 6.2 liter big V8 from Chevy.
Exactly. So, the numbers are impressive. We obviously do not know how it's going to perform. It does have the 8-speed automatic transmission. It's a bit of a carryover from last time.
Yeah, which is a good thing.
I don't have a problem with that. It's ZF, right?
Yep.
But if you look at the inside of the truck again, you'll see clearly that there's the knob. So they're still sticking, or the dial, I should say. So they're still sticking with that, which I thought that they might do away with, at least with the Rebel, because the GT was really popular and it had the the shifter.
Console.
Right.
Center console shifter, right.
This doesn't have that. So maybe they're reserving that for the future.
Yeah, you can kind of see a little bit closer here. That's the dial you're talking about and the screen, of course. And there's some other equipment sensors that we've noticed.
Yeah, hanging off the vehicle, you could clearly see.
Which kind of makes sense.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So this is definitely a test truck. And also one other thing is that the airbags have been disabled at least on the passenger side. And there's a large yellow sticker that says so. And the reason they do that, there's a couple reasons. One is that if they do off-road testing, they tend to do that. Or in this case, in addition, I would say, all the computer equipment that's going to be sitting on the guy's lap while they're testing the vehicle. It's a really good idea to actually disarm that stuff so it doesn't embed in you in case there's an accident.
Yeah, here there's a little close-up of the airbag disabled sticker, and it's just
you clearly see down there.
Yeah, and there's another kind of cut off version of it here. Yep. Kind of makes sense because obviously they're monitoring all the systems already using their extra computers and extra sensors. But what if they went off a huge jump, right? And they're testing it to the limits, right? So that totally makes sense.
Yeah. So that's if you were wondering why that's there, that is one of the reasons why.
So we have to talk about this, the high output engine, really quick too.
Right.
Because there's another truck that they refer to as a RHO, and I asked what those letters mean, and they said stay tuned. So we don't have an official word.
So I think it's really high output.
Or Ram high output.
I like really better.
Or Rebel high output.
Or Rancho. I'm kidding.
No.
Rancho's not going to support. So this is what I think it might be. We saw a little while ago what looked like a TRX running around with a straight 6 turbo testing. And we did a video on it. You guys can see it at alltfl.com. I think that might be the RHO. And I think the RHO essentially is a TRX with the twin turbo straight 6.
Yeah, and it could be that 540 horsepower version. We're pretty sure they don't have a hybrid in the works quite yet or anything like that.
As far as we know, no.
So this is a picture of current TRX. This is on the same page, by the way, for 2025. But the front might be a little bit different, right, for 2025. But one thing to key on to is the big fenders.
Right, that's not on the Rebel. That's only on the TRX currently.
And it might be called RHO.
Right,
that's
so
what we know.
We think that might be where the name is going.
Yeah.
Want your opinion too, by the way, on that. Now I know some people are, wishing, well, they might bring back, we've been hearing about another Hemi. There's like a weird rumor. Did you hear that?
Sure, like the next gen Hemi, but at least not in 25.
No.
Right? It may come later.
Maybe.
We know GM invested a bunch of money into next generation V8 engines.
Right.
Ford still has a 5 liter in their F-150 trucks
Yep.
for 2024. So We don't know what's going to happen in the future, but we just know what's happening immediately.
Right, and we're reporting on news that we can actually report on as opposed to rumors we can't verify. So at least we have something here to work on.
And we know these new trucks, by the way, this is the chassis, this is what Ram published, but this is a high output. You can kind of tell by the fancy engine cover.
Yeah, with the little lures in them. But look at what we were talking about earlier. Now this is where the cats are, but there's two of them, and they run to two pipes that then run down to the large muffler.
And then split into two.
Right.
So this looks like...
It doesn't look like the underside of what we just saw.
Not exactly like that, right? So it's a little bit different. So that's why we're not quite sure. But I love that it's a true dual system, right?
Right.
You can't really fake that.
No, and I'm curious if that makes a big difference with the sound. Obviously, it will make a difference with performance. There's so many questions that we have right now. And I know a lot of you guys have questions, too, about this new Ram. And it really is a new Ram, right? I mean, there are still components that are carried over from the previous one, but I would say that considering how much stuff is new underneath, especially the powertrain, that I would be willing to call it an all-new truck.
Yeah, and once again, we confirm the tires, right? This is a Goodyear Wrangler Duratrack, and Rebels have had Duratracks for many, many years, actually.
Yeah, they have.
Our truck that TFL owned in 2019 had Duratracks as well.
That's correct.
So we're very familiar with these tires.
And we're very fond of the Rebel, by the way. It's an interesting truck because it established something that wasn't there before. We thought at first when we saw it, oh, this is Ram's answer to the Raptor. No, Ram was, and they were emphatic. No, absolutely not. This is for people who actually want to buy something that is off-road capable and good and different, but at the same time affordable. And it was, if you consider, how much a Raptor cost. And because of the Rebel, that's why we think vehicles like the Chevrolet Trail Boss, the AT4, and the
Tremor F-150.
And the Tremor F-150. Yeah. We think that's why they came out, because there's that middle ground that wasn't being tapped. Ram jumped on it first, and everybody else then clambered upon it. So we're fond of the truck. We used one. We built on it. We ruined it. We drove it to Vegas and back.
And we put a lot of miles on it,
We did put a lot of miles on it. Yeah, but...
And by the way, no mechanical failures on that truck.
Didn't we have an issue climbing?
Well, that was after I lifted it. Roman snapped one of the half shafts.
And that was Roman, by the way, R-O-M-A-n, not Andre.
Not Andre or Nathan.
That's correct.
But so that I'm not going to put it on the truck because we did give it a small lift.
Yes, we did.
And the engine and transmission were always solid. I think we had like 22,000 miles.
We put a lot of miles on it because we did a lot of cross-country trips with it. It was a good truck.
So yeah, Ram, sometimes some people badmouth them and say that they follow others. And a lot of they had groundbreaking interior design way before anybody else. They had the Rebel come out way before anybody else.
Yep.
But they are adding new features that others have.
Which I can appreciate this.
Yeah, so a 2 kilowatt inverter system that Ford really pioneered in their full-size
What is
trucks.
this on?
I think it's an option on many different Rams that are coming next year.
So they don't have to be hybrids?
No.
Oh.
No.
See, that's the big difference.
Yeah. Well, actually, Ford has also a non-hybrid, smaller, like a 2kW inverter. The hybrid had a 7.2 system that, of course, Ram is not going to have right now.
Right.
Their electric truck will have it, but not this one.
You know who doesn't have that? What? Nissan and Toyota.
What about GM? GM? We're looking at you.
I thought that they at least did it on their new Silverado EV.
Well, they have 400 watts. They have little plugs. But 400 watts, okay. 400 watts is good to charge your tool batteries, right?
Yeah.
Your power tools.
Yes.
But if you're running even like a circular saw or a compressor, you need more power like this.
Right.
So I think GM needs to do that.
Okay. Well, there you have it. So anyway, guys, we want your opinion about the Rebel and whether or not you think it's this that we've been showing you. I'm pretty sure it is. And it's out there in the wild right now, so stay tuned. We're going to get a lot more information on this truck very soon.
And by the way, Rem said Q1, first quarter of 2024 calendar year, which is just around the corner.
Right.
A lot of these base trucks will be on sale. The RHO, the electric trucks they showed, those will come later.
That makes sense.
So RHO, they said maybe third quarter of next year.
Right.
Fourth quarter of next year is for electric Ram truck. And then 2025 is the Ram Charger range extender.
Right.
So we'll have to wait a lot longer for those trucks.
All right, so stay tuned, guys. Once again, we want to hear your comments below, what you think of this, and also, keep your eyes out. You never know what you're going to see on the road.
And thanks, Nigel.